Welcome back to How to Hit a Man. I'm BurningDogFace. And last time we finished off in Vermont. Took out Janus and his hapless bodyguard. And I had been planning to start this episode all slick and professional with the next mission, since we didn't actually step into that. You know, good morning, 47, and then telling us whatever we're meant to be doing. But, that's not how this mission starts. Oops. Let me see. Oh, yes. Shout out to Faye Otter to start things off, who was one of several people who was deeply amused by the fucking random luck I had in the Vermont mission. And he put it in terms of D&D. So let me get this straight. You rolled a natural 20 on your investigation check, and with your bonuses totaling to a 42? That's correct. So what did I find? Alright, you stumbled directly into the murder basement. Oh dear. Oh dear. And shout out to Derek Floyd, who asked a very prudent question which I did not realize. The mailbox in front of the murder house said H. West, and I walked away thinking it was a reference to Reanimator and that it was somehow Herbert West. But well, here comes Derek Floyd pointing out, now, why does Helen West, the sweet old lady who sells homemade cupcakes and muffins, have a murder basement and a key to Frank Schmidt's bedroom? Oh no. Helen's Muffins and such is a bakery owned by a murderer. But, oops, too far. Let's see, we left off here. Shadows in the water. Oh. Full-ass cutscene for once. Animated and everything.
Morning, 47. The Ark Society's annual gathering is several weeks away, which should give us ample time to prepare. Meanwhile, Mr. Gray has an off-the-books request. Perhaps you should explain.
Noel Crest. One of my best fixes. Before Romania, I left him in charge of the militia. Told him in no uncertain terms to cease all attacks on Providence, stand by, and await further orders. Safe to say he did not. Crest and his men have gone rogue, reinventing themselves as a glorified gang of international thieves. They specialize in ruthless spectacle heists with zero regard to collateral damage.
I've seen the man's file. What did you expect would happen?
It's not like I had much choice, seeing as all my best lieutenants were killed by you two.
Fair point.
Nevertheless, Crest is a rabid dog. He is my responsibility, my mistake. I would like your help correcting it.
Current whereabouts?
Ambrose Island, an isolated harbor north from the Strait of Malacca. Coincidentally, one of Wazir Kale's old ports of call. According to my intel, Crest and his men have joined forces with a local pirate syndicate to raid a passing tanker. His goal, a control unit for an Ether Corp satellite being covertly shipped abroad. The satellite is a node in the company's most secure cloud storage network, so they would pay a fortune to preserve its integrity.
What is Crest's endgame?
Extortion, if I had to guess. We don't have the luxury of a full investigation. For us to move against the constant, we need Providence to think the threat is over and lower their guard. Another militia attack on Ether would raise alarms.
I agree. 47. You'll need to eliminate Crest and destroy that control unit, or lock the militia out. The satellite cannot fall into their hands. We'll need a cover story for ICA. Luckily, Akka, the rapacious leader of the Syndicate, already has an active ICA contract on her head. Take her out, and we'll even get our expenses paid.
Well, I never had you pegged as a rebel.
I'm warming to it.
Thank you, both. 47, seeing as I know Crest, I'll provide field support. Meet you out east.
Mission active. Oh boy. Okay, sounds a little bit unorthodox. I kind of thought we were going to a funeral on wherever Segal is. Segail? S-G-A-I-L. Is that like Welsh or something? Gaelic? I just realized I didn't catch the name of the fucking country we're going to in this one, but okay. Andaman Sea, Ambrose Island. Huh. I've never heard of either of those places, so that doesn't bode well. But, hey, just because we're going in blind doesn't mean anything else is new. Noble Crest. Noble Crest is merely a second-string member of the militia until opportunity presented itself. Specializing in discreet retrieval and/or destruction of valuable items, documents, and data, he made a name for himself among those in the know by cleaning up after others, or in certain cases, retrieving things before they could be cleaned up. He is meticulous and proud of it, spending a great deal of time perfecting his plans and making sure every component necessary is optimized and accounted for. Sorry, I needed to sneeze. He is also notoriously guarded with information. This discretion and attention to detail meant he dealt with top-tier clientele, but despite his access and his talents as a fixer, he had been kept at arm's length by the militia's leader, Lucas Gray. Unfortunately, Gray's chosen lieutenants were decimated by 47, leaving little in the way of opposition when Crest decided to usurp leadership of the militia. He had not always been so ambitious, nor so capable. Crest lacked security as a child growing up in the Midwest. He was poorly anchored and inconsistently cared for by his immediate family. Oh dear. They were far from well off, and as a result of his unmet material needs and his unmet social needs, he was extremely vulnerable to being swept up in his local organized crime scene. At the time, Crest was still young and quite small, not to mention more than eager to take risks that might impress his bosses. He was frequently assigned to break into houses in search of blackmail material, infiltrating through doggy doors or narrow window gaps, and sifting through documents and even the contents of the occasional safe, once he mastered the art of cracking them. This experience and the praise that followed fostered his budding confidence and stoked his desire to master the most subtle of the criminal arts. By the time he was too big to squeeze through a dog flap, he no longer needed to. He began to discreetly offer his services to the wealthy and privileged at the first whiff of scandal, steadily filling a little black book with a who's who of dodgy executives and morally dubious members of the elite. Crest learned to reach a little further every time, and the jobs he undertook became bigger and more ostentatious, wiping particularly sensitive records from a law firm's database at the behest of a rival legal team, retrieving evidence from police cold storage lockups to conceal a client's ill doings, even sanitizing the crime scenes themselves to remove every trace of what had happened there. Fucking A, man. Every job was harder than the one that came before, the rewards greater. His skills grew in tandem with his bank balance, yet he still held on to his unquenchable need to be recognized by those above him. Crest was recruited for his skill set as well as what Gray believed was an eagerness to be led, but in the absence of a leader, Crest clearly grew tired of being a follower. He aspires to turn the militia's remaining resources towards large-scale heists, restoring and even expanding their influence in the process. To that end, Crest believes an influential group of pirates endemic to the Strait of Malacca, a waterway through which 40% of the world's shipping traffic passes, would be invaluable allies. The loss of the Delgado cartels damaged the mobility of the militia severely, and Akka's ad hoc syndicate could restore it, with the additional benefit of providing a smokescreen for their activities in the area. Really, they're everything Crest could have asked for. Any method, any disguise. Jump cut. Sorry about that. Ahem. Sinhi Akka Venthan. That's A-K-K-A. Before she was Akka, Sinhi Venthan was raised by her, Sinhi, S-I-N-H-I, Justin. Before she was Akka, Sinhi Venthan was raised by her grandmother in a small coastal village south of Chennai. When she was 6, the aging woman, the only mother she had known, died, and neither of her parents reappeared to claim her. Neighbors offered the young girl token assistance, but the truth was that none of them could afford to support her more substantially without taking food from the mouths of their own children. Like many children in her situation, Akka learned how to survive on the streets by doing odd jobs and petty crimes. Criminal opportunities proved much more fruitful and easier to find than proper work, and as she grew older and the charity of the adults around her dried up completely, Akka waded deeper and deeper into the criminal underworld. Oh dear. Hearing about the thriving and profitable piracy scene of the Strait of Malacca, Akka found her way across the Indian Ocean and set foot on Ambrose Island in the early 2000s when she was still a teenager. At the time, it was a hub for several small pirate crews, each with their own leaders and their own territories, constantly under dispute. Ambrose was for the most part neutral ground due to the presence of the beloved local matriarch, Farah, who operated a bar on the island and helped to keep the peace for the sake of the locals. Farah took Akka under her wing after she arrived, and for a time Akka was grateful. Farah's affection was unconditional, unaltered by whatever crimes anyone undertook, so long as they didn't hurt anyone else who called the island home. She treated the young woman without judgment and even encouraged the ambition and guile that Akka demonstrated in assembling her own pirate crew. It took time for Akka to demonstrate her worth to the rest of the population. She was a capable raider, but she was even better at assessing targets and developing strategies of approach. She was relatively indifferent to life and unafraid to take it when needed, coldly gauging risk on practical costs rather than human ones. She managed to enrich her crew in periods when others were growing lean, intensifying territory disputes as a result, but Akka and her men seemed to thrive no matter what stretch of water they hunted in. Pirates from rival groups began defecting to work beneath her instead. When another leader was killed in a botched raid, his crew folded itself in eagerly under Akka's rule. Before the remaining petty rulers of Ambrose knew it, she had amassed enough manpower to overthrow them, and she did just that. Their crews were subsumed into her own, and they themselves were swiftly killed and disposed of in the sea. This is how Akka became the pirate queen of Ambrose Island. Fuck, man. This satisfied her for a time until recently. Evidently, her base began to feel less like a throne and more like a cell. Chafing against the limitations of their isolation, Akka began reaching out to other groups operating in the Strait and more widely abroad. Gradually, she's pieced together a tenuous, and by necessity low-tech, syndicate of outlaws, extending as far as the Pacific Ocean. In cells and pockets, their expertise, resources, techniques, and information are shared with Akka at their epicenter. Meanwhile, her formerly close relationship with Farah has waned. There can only be one point around which the people of Ambrose Island orbit, and Akka would prefer it to be her. Any method, any disguise. And finally, make sure neutralize the satellite control unit. Make sure the satellite control unit cannot be used. The satellite uplink control unit, when unlocked, gives unfettered access to Aether's secure off-world data storage network. Sorry, it's just I think Stargate is the only other place I've ever heard anyone use the term off-world casually like that. Given the nature of Aether's business, this would give the militia, or potentially even the pirates, the ability to pull as much of this data as they'd like and ransom it back to the company, or sell it outright. This would put Providence back on edge and inhibit any plans to capture the Constant. The best course of action is to either destroy the control unit or remove both of the required keycards from the area before it can be unlocked. I also don't like that the screen in that image is showing behind safety system activated the logo for the ICA, not Ether. The triangle with a skull in the middle and the crown on the top. Ooh boy. Okay, starting location Western Beach. Wrong button. 47 has come ashore in the western beach of Ambrose Island. Only option right now, let's go with it. Concealed weapon, you know where I'm going with this. Coin, and instead of fiber wire, I will take lockpick. Standard one this time. The rain is stopping soon. Thank you, weather app. I really needed to know that. I don't have any smuggling spots, so that sucks. And apparently I'm going to be wearing a gorilla wetsuit. A full-body wetsuit made of compression-resistant neoprene paired with camo print pants. Provides excellent thermal insulation and is ideal for amphibious infiltration of jungle environments. I mean, putting the cargo pants on outside of them does actually make it look pretty cool. Yeah, let's go with that. Alright, hold on to your butts. Assassination is a serious business. Guards will try to disarm explosives if alerted to their presence. I feel like I can use that.
Welcome to the Andaman Sea, 47. We've arrived just in time. It seems Crest didn't disclose the true object of the heist to his partners. So Akka has seized one of the satellite control unit's keycards as collateral until they can renegotiate.
Works just fine by me.
The militia have set up camp near the remains of a colonial outpost. Both Crest and the control unit should be nearby. You'll need to destroy the unit itself or render it inoperable by retrieving both keycards. Knowing Crest, he'll have given his to someone he trusts, but Akka is less inclined to delegate. She should be in the pirate base when she's not out among the locals. I provided you with a GPS tracker. Activate it when you're done and I'll initiate extraction. The sooner we finish up here, the better.
Nice boots. I'm gonna be honest, the skin-tight suit kind of makes me, think of, Splinter Cell, of all fucking things. Shadows in the water. Is it weird that I'm wearing a wetsuit? I mean, I guess not, we're on the ocean. I wonder if there's anything stopping me from just stealing this fishing boat. Other than the part where I have no idea how to drive a fishing boat. What the hell are those? Oh! There's some fishing boats out there right now, and they've all got a bunch of green lights lighting the way. Like it's all night lights. Maybe it's easier on the eyes at night. Can't imagine it's good for seeing anything in the water, though.
I saw Akka pacing around like a tiger in a cage earlier. It makes me nervous.
Ever since they got back from the raid, the mood's been different. They're not being as chummy with the toy soldiers anymore. Used to be, she was at Farah's every night getting drinks with their boss, wasn't she?
Something must have happened. You know Akka, if she thinks someone's taking what's hers, she'll just as soon cut their hands off as ask for it back.
Maybe it was stupid, but I expected better from them. They've been pretty easy to deal with. When they showed up, I thought they would take the whole village over, but they mostly keep to themselves near the ruin.
You make friends with a crocodile when you live in the water. Maybe now that they're ready to return to land, they're showing their true colors.
Western Beach. Oops! Wrong way. My mistake? This isn't my house. This is a bathtub. Why is there a bathtub on the deck? I'm going to assume, judging by the level of black stains in all these clothes, that it's only used for laundry. Why would I kill this guy? Some fucking shirtless fisherman in the middle of nowhere. I go to the middle of nowhere a lot. Is there anything useful in there? Well, there's a hiding space. Something sat over there. Tell you what. Nobody on this side is facing the door. Pick up fish. Yoink. Pick up fishing line. What the fuck is this? Is the fishing line a garrote? Can be used as a makeshift fiber wire. Fuck yeah. In fact, I see that the brand name on this spool of fishing line is Fataline. F-A-T-A capital L-I-N-E with no space in the middle. Oh, GPS tracker. Gray has provided 47 of the GPS tracker. Activate it after the mission is complete to initiate extraction. Cool! It's just a tube with a button on the end. I wonder what it says on the silencer there on the silver baller. A fish. Oh, put that away. See, I didn't need to bring the fiber wire. I found some of my own. Oh, geez, I'm suddenly thinking about Art Attack from back in the day when I was a kid. If you don't have this at home, you can substitute this. If you don't have a garrote at home, you can substitute fishing wire. Ah, yes, back in the jungle. That is one tangled-ass tree. Does it even have a main trunk, or is it just a whole bunch of them twisted together? It's like there's about 10 trees, and they're all curled up around each other. You know, that's not even vines right there. That's just more damn wood. Like the branches are hugging each other. Huh. That's pretty good rendered fire right there. Okay, checking the map. Yeah, that's a big area. Okay. Oh, I just know where the satellite uplink control unit is. It's on the fucking map. I mean, I suppose I know where the targets are. Yeah, that's not new, so. That can't be right. Surprisingly few places to discover in this map. Oh, okay, it's when you're on different levels. But there's the timer. Well, I suppose I did do a lot of stuff to set this up. Or even am I there? I am. Just peek over here. There's a shed out in the middle here. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a shack. These people must live here. Hello. Lovely day. For a walk in the jungle. Garden fork. I guess this is a shiv. A regular garden fork with a lethal tag on it. Yeah. I was expecting the one where it, like, the tongs, or the, what is it, prongs, curve 90 degrees right at the end and point forward, not up. This is like a very, very, very tiny pitchfork. I guess you'd use it the same way, just probably be harder on your hands. Ah, well. I go to such nice places. I'm BurningDogFace, and I will see you on the next episode of How to Hit a Man, when we continue getting our bearings, looking around, and trying not to be too suspicious, despite the fact that we're a white man in a skin-tight diving suit. Till next time. Later.